Greetings. On this episode, we're going behind the scenes with our favorite home stager, Tami Holmes.
Welcome to another episode of Behind the Scenes.
We've had the opportunity to work with many different stagers over the years, but about 5 years ago, I was introduced to Tami, and I am so fortunate that happened. She's been an integral part of our team since then. Every listing that we have, we bring her on in one capacity or another, and it makes a world of difference. She's got the Midas touch. Okay, let's get right to it. Let's go behind the scenes. We're here today with Tami Holmes, classic touch, design, and staging. I've worked with many stagers over the years. Nobody holds a candle to Tami. Tami, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for having me.
So tell us, how did this staging interior design thing start with you?
Well, it started, my background is an interior designer. I went to school for that. Was in doing interior design for now close to 27 years.
Okay.
And
So you started when you were 10?
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Thank
Got it.
you
All right.
so much for that compliment. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Long time.
long time anyways, and about 6 years ago we decided to do the staging end of it, which we've been very successful at, and we now have expanded our company now.
Excellent.
Over the last 6 years. So yeah, it's been a great experience.
Fantastic. Okay, so you've been in the industry for 20-something years, so you say.
I know, I look so
Staging,
young.
exactly. Staging for 6. What drew you into this? Like, what is it about it that you just love?
Really, I love it is the creativity of it. For me, it's that passion of being able to go into a home and being able to create, a feeling of whatever I feel. So when I do stagings, I like to walk them because I actually get an actual feeling and a vibe of how I think that the home would be best showcased.
Got
in
it.
that. So for me, it's just a complete opportunity for me to be able to use my creativity and my talent and to be able to showcase what I think is best for your buyers out there.
That's excellent. All right. So Tami, tell us from your perspective, what are the benefits of staging a home?
Well, Aaron, the benefits to home staging really has to do with the presentation of what the buyer is actually going to come out and look at. I think if a good analogy I like to use is it is a lot like a dating website. When you see a place that's empty, it's kind of like they want to swipe left. If they see a place that's actually staged and it gives them that feeling, they're going to swipe right and they're going to contact the realtor, and that's probably the house that they're most likely going to go look at. For us, it's really important as stagers, we like to come into the process and stage the home so that it appeals to the buyer, and we like to be able to do that through creating a continuity throughout the house so that the house has a consistent flow, so that even when they see the house online as well, it gives them that invitation of wanting to actually live there.
Right. And it's such an emotional thing too. So that gets them in the door, but then when they're in the home, it's amazing too how many buyers don't really have a vision. Like if the house were just vacant, they couldn't just come in and see that.
Today, most people cannot even, 95% I would even say do not actually have the ability to actually visualize and see scale.
Yeah.
And so as stagers, we are able to come in and to be able to provide a little that for them, so that gives them an idea to kind of think of where maybe the placement of their items might work, or as well as that maybe they want to look at the design concept and maybe in the future move towards something new.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's walk people through the process of this. I know that when what's the percentage, would you say, of your business are realtors calling you for staging versus?
I would say 85%.
Okay, so it's a lot of that. So I know from my perspective, when I first meet with a seller and I do a walkthrough of the house, when I get to that second meeting, I'm usually calling you, especially if it's vacant. And you've done, so much good for my clients over the years, and just in terms of the whole process from picking out colors and coming up with some ideas if we need to do some remodeling first, which is fantastic, and I know not all stagers go to that level, so
Right.
I always appreciate that. But from your perspective, once we get to the point where you're walking through the house, walk us through the process that you go through to kind of, eye up the space and determine what kind of look the the home is going to get? What's your process like?
My process is really based on kind of, one, I like to walk it and get a feeling. It really, for me, it truly is about a feeling of what I feel is going to be the best to showcase in the house. Obviously not every house is perfect. And so that is also my job, is to be able to walk through and to find out maybe what might be the imperfections or things that might be a challenge for a buyer to be able to not understand in the layout of the home. So I like to be able to emphasize on those areas so that I give that buyer the opportunity to see something different than what they might not have been able to see with it just empty. So I love one of the things that I love is we staged a home that was a $1.5 million home. Beautiful designer had done the work. Obviously, it was about 15 years, well, probably about 20 years old. And the house closed without the buyer even recognizing that there was no master shower.
Oh, interesting.
So that was kind of fun in the aspect of that. We had done our job in creating.
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, you're creating these spaces where people are coming in and they're getting this emotional attachment to the house, and they really do that help. They miss things sometimes.
They do. You miss things, and that's why the staging kind of helps, because like I said, every house is not perfect, and so again, it allows the buyer not to focus on all those imperfections. They're looking at mostly looking at the space and general, the feeling that's created in the room, the ambiance, and that's what creates the buyer to want to buy.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, so Tami, you've helped lots of clients, whether it's vacant or it's an occupied home where you'll go in and help them move things around and maybe supplement. Do you have a preference whether you're just working with a blank slate, like a vacant home, or helping an owner decide on what to get rid of and then what to supplement?
I enjoy both of them, but I'll have to tell you that I actually do really enjoy doing occupied listings. The reason why is not a lot of stagers actually like to do them. And I like doing them because I like to be able to come in and I like to be able to either, one, work with the client one-on-one and kind of give them an idea of how they could change some of their things. And two, it's so rewarding for me is to see something that is so completely, different, that what I can come in and completely change that. It's like while you were out. So I think that I like that. I like that aspect of that. And I like to be able to have the client afterwards too see the light up on their face and seeing how different, and they never would have thought that it, could have looked like that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Where on a vacant home, you don't get that as much, other than you don't get that one-on-one with the actual owner.
Right. Got it. So in some of your experience with homes that were occupied, where you're just coming in and supplementing and helping them move things around and make suggestions, any good stories there?
Well, Aaron, actually, one of yours is one of my best stories.
One of
and
my
you
clients?
actually, it taught me a lesson as a stager. If you remember, we had one that we worked on that was a little bit challenging. We had velvet wallpaper.
Oh,
and
the flocked wallpaper, yes.
Yes, and we had the carpet, and that was... What was that? I'm not sure.
Shag from the 60s.
Definitely. The mural of George Washington. And I think if you remember right, I told you I didn't think I could help you.
You did actually say that, and I knew that you could.
Yeah. And so after you went away and you kind of went on the market and it didn't sell. We kind of reassessed it and came back in, and I had to pull deep.
How deep did you pull?
I actually got up in the attic and pulled out my grandmother's dishes. And in that process, though, we staged that, and that sold in 2 weeks.
It's true. That's a really, and that
and
is
it
why.
taught me a lesson that not to say no to things that you just don't think that you can do.
It's true.
There's something that can always be done
Yes.
in the staging.
Which also taught me that no matter what the house is, I need to have you involved.
Exactly.
So I can
That's why
sell
it's
it.
a good team.
Yes. Agreed. Okay, so Tami, you and I both know the value of staging and what it means to the seller ultimately, but what do you tell a seller that says, it's a seller's market, it's a really hot market, we don't need to do all these extra things? What do you tell a seller?
Well, I think it's unfortunate that they have that thought process. I think that with the staging, it really does give them the extra value to the home. They're going to get top dollar if they stage. It's about giving that presentation out there. You want to be able to present it with You have one opportunity to go out there.
Right. One chance to make a first
One chance
impression,
to make a first impression.
Yep.
And if that impression, you need the staging, you need the good photographer, a good representation from your realtor,
Right.
and that's what's going to drive that sale up.
Right.
So I think it's really sad that they have that thinking, because really ultimately that's really what it is.
Right. So Tami, things are always evolving and changing in the world of style and design. How do you stay on top of everything and stay fresh and innovative on the design front?
Well, Aaron, Classic Touch goes to buyer's market twice a year.
Okay.
And we also like to recycle some of our stuff. So we want to bring in what's current.
Okay.
And then we will sell twice a year some of our inventory, so that it allows us to be able to keep things fresh, and that our inventory also stays in good shape.
So the buyer's market, is that like a big furniture trade show?
It is
or-
a big furniture and accessory trade show.
Okay.
It consists of 3 buildings, and we basically spend a good 5 days there. And
Wow, okay.
it gives us the opportunity to see what's up and coming,
Uh-huh.
and what's going to be new out in the market before sometimes it even hits
Okay.
some of the stores. So it gives us a jump ahead
Okay.
a little bit in these homes when we stage them, that it kind of gives that buyer, we can kind of set a trend.
Fantastic.
Too.
So I'm assuming you belong to some trade association or?
Yes, Teresa.
Yeah, okay.
Which is Real Estate Staging Association.
Okay, great.
Which is around the world. A lot of great stagers, and we have that camaraderie where we can actually, interface back and forth between each other and kind of troubleshoot when we have different things that come up, and it's a great association to belong to.
Fantastic. All right. Tami, thank you so much for joining us today on our behind the scenes. Really appreciate your time.
Well, thanks, Aaron. Thanks for coming out and interviewing us today. That's great.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. So in closing, is there one tip out of everything? Is there just one tip that you could give realtors, sellers on the home staging front?
Charmin, baby. Toilet paper.
Toilet paper? What do you mean? Like keep toilet paper in the house?
Keep toilet paper in your house.
I feel like there's a story there.
A lot of towels.
Like staging towels?
Staging towels.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Behind the Scenes. We'd love to hear any feedback you have about this or any of the other content we're putting out. And speaking of content, you can find more of it at JanusGroupRE.com or on all the socials at JanusGroupRE. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time. And if you would, please click here. See right there? That way you can subscribe to this YouTube channel, or over here, you can watch our latest video. Thanks again. Take care.
House goals realized. Janus Group at RE/MAX Integrity.
It's a tooth!